The racial inferiority with black children was indoctrinated by the black community itself. White Jesus and the white snow bunny. You can't wait to bring the little white girl into your home. And then we get upset when our sons marry snow bunnies, but you brought the snow bunny home to your daughter for Christmas. So if it is okay for your daughter to own a snow bunny, why can't your son marry a snow bunny? This is not a replacement, because this is nothing more than this spray painted brown. I said this is nothing more than this spray painted brown. This is not a solution, because most of your daughters do not look like this. I'm going to go to every black boy and I'm going to say, which one of these would you rather be your wife? Which one of these is going to be called the Snow Bunny Doll Study? That's right, brothers and sisters. The Snow Bunny Doll Study.
Can you show me the doll that you like best or that you'd like to play with?
This one. I like that one.
Okay.
This one.
That one?
This one. I like to play with this.
And can you show me the doll that is the nice doll? And why is that the nice doll?
He's white.
And can you show me the doll that looks bad? Okay. And can you and why does that look bad?
Because it's black.
And why do you think that's a nice doll?
Because she's white.
And can you give me the doll that looks like you? "15 out of the 21 children preferred the white doll."
While we are at it, we need to have a conversation about her. Her. Because sometimes I ask myself, which image has been more destructive to the African mind? Which image has been more destructive to the African mind? White Jesus or the little white doll baby? Which image has been more destructive to the African mind? See, black mothers, I hope for the sanity of our community, you are not out buying your daughter this. No black girl should be receiving a snow bunny for Christmas. Snow bunnies are not allowed in the black house. But a lot of you brainwashed Negroes, a lot of you Negro pins have already bought this for your daughter. And you wonder why the black community is under a dictatorship by the weave, by the perm, by blonde hair. Do you wonder why so many black women love blonde hair? Why do so many black women love, they'll be blue, black, purple with a head full of blonde hair. You ever wonder why? You ever wonder why so many black women bleach their skin, lighten up their skin? You ever wonder why you see some of our kids with the blue contacts and the green contacts? Why are you buying snow bunnies for Christmas? Let me ask you a question. If I go into a Mexican home, for Christmas, will I find a black doll under the tree for a Mexican girl? If I go into an Arab home, will I find a black doll under the tree for the Arab girl? If I go into the Jewish home, will I find a black doll under the tree for the little Jewish girls? Well, they don't celebrate Christmas, but you understand what I'm saying. Hanukkah in their case, which is coming up. If I go to the Chinese house, that celebrates Christmas, will there be a black doll under the tree for the Chinese girl? Will I find a black doll under the tree for any other race? So why is it I can find a white doll under the tree for the black girl? See, the snow bunny crisis in the black community begins at birth. Because for many of our daughters, as soon as they are born, and at least as soon as they can sit up or walk or crawl, the first thing that mommy or daddy, grandmom or granddad, auntie or uncle buys for them is a snow bunny. You can't wait to bring the little white girl into your home. And then we get upset when our sons marry snow bunnies, but you brought the snow bunny home to your daughter for Christmas. So if it is okay for your daughter to own a snow bunny, why can't your son marry a snow bunny? If it is okay for your daughter to own a snow bunny, why is it not okay for your son to marry a snow bunny? If it's okay for your daughter to own a snow bunny, it must be okay for your son to marry a snow bunny. This image in the mind of the black girl, this image of the white doll in the mind of the black boy may have done more damage to black America than white Jesus. May have done more damage to black America than white Jesus. Why do you say that, Dr. Ifa Tunde? Why do you say Goldilocks? Snow bunny Goldilocks may have caused more psychological damage in the black community than white Jesus. I say that because your child can't play with the Jesus picture. Your child can't really make believe play with the Jesus picture. Your child doesn't take the Jesus picture to school. Your child doesn't take the Jesus picture to the play date. Your child doesn't take the Jesus picture to the playground. But your child can take Snow Bunny to the playground. Your child can take Snow Bunny to the play dates. Your child can take Snow Bunny to school. Your child can take Snow Bunny outside to play. So what has done more damage in the black house? The blonde hair, pale skin, blue-eyed Jesus, or the blonde hair, pale skin, blue-eyed Snow Bunny doll? See, I need you to understand, overstand, and understand. To give this to your daughter for Christmas, if this is Christmas, you are teaching your daughter just by virtue of giving her the Snow Bunny doll. Just by virtue of giving your daughter the Snow Bunny, you are teaching her racial inferiority. Oh, yes. What they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if a picture is worth 1,000 words, what about an object? If a picture is worth 1,000 words, what about a doll baby? If a picture is worth 1,000 words, what about a toy? When you give a beautiful African princess who has brown skin, black skin, nappy hair, big nose, broad lips, and you give her this for Christmas, this is a gift I'm giving you in the name of Jesus. You're giving her a snow bunny in the name of Jesus. You are teaching your daughter. You are teaching your daughter racial inferiority and self-hate. Why would my mother or father give me a toy that does not look like me? Why would my mother or father give me a toy that does not look like me? Just by giving them this, you're telling them that they're not good enough. See, the point that I'm making between the black church and the black parent, the black church white Jesus and the black parents white doll baby, the black church's white Jesus and the black parents white doll baby, between the two, between this and white Christ, between this and white Christ, Our children have already been taught self-hate before they go to kindergarten, self-hate before they go to preschool, self-hate before they go to daycare. That's right. The black child has already been taught to hate self before they go to the white school. The black child has already been taught to hate self before they go to the white private school, independent school, parochial school, charter school, public school, their own mother, father in church. Why would you give a black child this? Why? This is okay for white women because they're white. It's okay for the white girl to have a white doll, but how many white girls you see with a black doll? But this right here, 403 years later, 403 years later, 156 years after emancipation, this is still under the Christmas tree. And you tell me post-traumatic slavery disease does not exist. 403 years later, this is still under the black Christmas tree. She is still running the house. The snow bunny runs the black house. You want to know why your daughter want to be Kim Kardashian? Why your daughter want to be all these white actors and singers and everything else? Right here. You condition her as a baby that this right here is the standard. This is the standard. This is the standard. And some of you fake woke parents, some of you fake woke parents are buying white dolls for black girls 400 years later. 400 years and we still buying our daughters this. Back in 1954. Back in 1954, 64, 74, 84, 94, 04, 14 is 60. 24 will be 70. We're coming up on 22. 68 years ago. 68 years ago, a black psychologist and his wife, Doctors Kenneth and Mamie Clark. 68 years ago, a black psychologist, two of them, Dr. Kenneth and Mamie Clark, assisted our two greatest educational attorneys, Dr. Charles Hamilton Houston and the late, great Thurgood Marshall, assisted them in winning the landmark 1954 Brown versus Board of Education, Topeka, Kansas lawsuit, proving that segregated education negatively affected black children by using a doll study. They gave black children 2 dolls. They gave black children 2 dolls. They gave them a white doll. They gave them a black doll. They gave black children 2 dolls. They gave them a white doll. They gave them a black doll. And they asked the children 68 years ago in the landmark Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas case. And they asked the children, which child was more beautiful? Which child was more successful? Which child represents who you would want to be? That was 68 years ago. And black children overwhelmingly chose the white doll. Black boys and girls overwhelmingly chose the white doll 68 years ago in the landmark Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court case study by the great psychologist Dr. Kenneth Clark and Dr. Mamie Clark, husband and wife, master psychologists. May the ancestors be pleased with them. May the Most High grant them peace. May the ancestors be pleased with them. May the Most High grant them peace. But I want to remix that. I want to talk to my two great psychologist ancestors, Dr. Kenneth Clark and Dr. Mamie Clark, and I want to suggest to them right now that your conclusions were partly incorrect. I'm glad you did what you did to break down the barriers in education for our babies. Don't get me wrong, but I would argue to Dr. Kenneth and Mamie Clark, our great psychologist ancestors, I would argue to them 68 years later, it wasn't the public school that taught black kids to be inferior. Your doll tests did not reveal that segregation made black kids hate each other. Your doll tests revealed that the white Jesus in the black church and the white doll baby in the black home. Your study revealed that white Jesus in the black church and the white doll baby in the black home, that's what taught black children to be inferior, not segregation. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. See, what Dr. Kenneth Clark, and he probably knew this, but he was using strategy. Dr. Mamie Clark, I'm sure they knew this. They were just being strategic. I'm sure they knew this. They were just being strategic. I'm sure they knew this. It wasn't segregation that caused the racial inferiority. Because after all, black people had had no contact with white folks for millennia. And we were doing just fine in Africa. Black people had no contact with white folks for millennia, and we were doing just fine in Africa. So separating black from white doesn't cause racial inferiority. The racial inferiority in black children, the racial inferiority with black children was indoctrinated by the black community itself. White Jesus and the white snow bunny. White Jesus and the white snow bunny. And then some of you black mothers are going to say, no problem, doc. Some of you black mothers are going to say, no problem, Dr. Umar. I got my daughter a black doll. Let me explain something to you. This doll right here, this so-called Negro doll baby, this is a Band-Aid. This is not a solution. Dr. Umar, why are you saying the black doll is a Band-Aid and not a solution? I'll tell you why the black doll is a Band-Aid and not a solution. First of all, does she has an African nose or does she have a European nose? Does the black doll have an African nose or does the black doll have a European nose? Does the black doll have African lips or does the black doll have European lips? Does the black doll have strong brown eyes like mine or does the black doll have light brown eyes? Does the black doll have natural hair like your daughter or does the black child has permed or straightened or weave or wig hair? This is not a replacement because this is nothing more than this spray painted brown. I said this is nothing more than this spray painted brown. This is not a solution because most of your daughters do not look like this. Most black girls do not look like this. Their nose is not that small. Their lips is not that thin. Their eyes is not that bright. And their hair is not that straight. Now, there's some exceptions. I grant you that. Because I know some of the pretendians are going to talk about how they got Choctaw and Cherokee and all of that in their hair. Well, I got news for you, pretendians. Your hair isn't straight because you're native. Your hair is straight because there's certain types of Africans, original African people who had fine facial features and straight hair. Oh, yes. Fine facial features and straight hair. They can be found in Central and Southeast Africa. You have many African ethnicities with fine noses and lips and hair. So yes, there are Africans who look like this. That is not my point. There are Africans who look exactly like this. This is not my point. My point is most American Africans who descend from those of West and Central Africa do not look like this. Most American Africans are descendant of African nations with broad physical features. So although there are some who may look like this, most of us do not. So you pretendians can go ahead with that nonsense. Where is the broad-nosed, big-lipped black dolls? Where are the nappy-headed, natural-headed black dolls? If there's any brothers and sisters out there who produce and sell natural dolls with natural hair, please send me the information so I can post it. I don't want black mothers and black fathers and black people to have any excuses. I don't want black mothers and black fathers and black people to have any excuse to buy their child a snow bunny, a European doll, or a Negropean doll. I don't want to see European dolls or Negropean dolls under the black Christmas tree. I don't want to see European dolls or Negropean dolls under the black Christmas tree. I want to see unapologetically African black doll babies. And if you know of anyone who sells or produces unapologetically African black dolls, text Dr. Umar the information at 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. This is not a solution. This is nothing more than the snow bunny with a suntan. This is the snow bunny with the suntan. Our daughters don't look like this. Get them dolls with their nose. Get them dolls with their hair. Get them dolls with their skin. Get them dolls with their lips. I'm going to redo the doll study, brothers and sisters. The Prince of Pan-Africanism is going to take these dolls with me wherever I go. And when I see a little African prince or princess, I'm going to start taking these dolls with me wherever I go. And whenever I see a little African prince or princess, I'm going to pull the dolls out and I'm going to do the Dr. Ifat Tunde 21st century, 403 years later, African doll study. I'm going to say, little princess, which one of these is the most pretty? Which one is more beautiful? Which one is more beautiful? Which one represents who you really want to be? That's right. That's right. I'm going to stop your son or daughter right there at the airport, right there at the lecture, right there at the store, right there in the community. And I'm going to pull out these two dolls and I'm going to do my own research, brothers and sisters. We need our own revolutionary data bank of information. We need our own revolutionary data bank. And I'm going to stop your son or daughter and I'm going to say, which one of these is beautiful? Which one of these represents who you want to be? Which one of these does your mother wish you were? Which one of these does your father find more attractive? Which one? I'm going to diagnose the snow bunny crisis in the black boy in preschool. I'm going to pick up where my great psychologist ancestors, Dr. Mamie and Kenneth Clark, left off. I said I'm going to pick up where my great psychologist ancestors, Dr. Mamie Clark and Dr. Kenneth Clark, left off. I'm going to go to every black boy and I'm going to say, which one of these would you rather be your wife? Which one of these is going to be called the Snow Bunny Doll Study? That's right, brothers and sisters. The Snow Bunny Doll Study. When I get to Margate, South Florida on Saturday, when I get to Margate, South Florida on Saturday, December the 4th, for the celebration of black masculinity, I'm going to ask your sons, which one of these would you rather marry? When I get to Minneapolis, Minnesota on Dr. King, Saturday, January the 15th. When I get to Scottsdale, Arizona on January the 17th. When I get to Jackson, Mississippi on New Year's Day. Jackson, Mississippi, February the 26th. Indianapolis, Indiana, February the 19th. I'm going to ask your son, which one of these would you rather marry? I'm going to diagnose the snow bunny crisis in your son right now so we can stop it, so we can reverse it, so we can cure the coonism. We're going to reverse it, brothers and sisters. We're going to reverse it, brothers and sisters. I've told you so many times. I have told you so many times. You cannot change anything for African people until you change the way we think. You cannot change anything for African people until you change the way we think. You cannot change anything for African people until you change the way we think. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Saturday. Day number 2. Economic suicide shopping season for Negroes. Day number 2, economic suicide shopping season for Negroes. It is the Black Parent Teleconference. Let's go to the phone lines. If you have questions about your children, we're dealing with the babies.
Really? The hell you talking about? We ain't never been desegregated talking about something while we segregate. You ain't nothing but an Africoon. Most of our people are psychologically insane. We should invest in 1 million white straitjackets, and every time we catch an Africoon, put their ass in a straitjacket. Every time you catch an Africoon, put their ass in a straitjacket.